Caroline, sometimes when we talk about mission trips, we have to talk about money, unfortunately. And sometimes, depending upon where the trip is going, it can be a very expensive endeavor. What have you seen done in churches to help mitigate that expense, to help do some fundraising or some group building activities around fundraising? What's your experience been with that?
Sure. You've got to talk about the finances up front and make sure you have a handle on what it's going to cost to do this and do it well and safely and in a way that does justice to the work that you want to do. But the financial piece is a big part of it. And you want to make sure that whatever you're charging for participation, no child or family is deciding not to participate because it's an expense they can't carry. And so that's a real challenge and a positive one to churches. They need to be willing to rise to that and to meet that need. And so whether that's setting aside some of the operating budget or the youth budget so that it's there. And then it does require some additional fundraising creativity. I've seen churches do car washes and bake sales. I was always really envious of a youth group that at Christmas time ran around with greens and big red ribbons and decorated people's mailboxes for a pretty sizable donation. And it was almost a free overhead. Beautiful and easy at Christmas time. We were part of a mission sponsor program where the youth group sent out letters to the church congregation and then the wider community, asking people to step up as donors, giving them some real numbers about what it costs to go on this trip or travel, or what it might be to, buy a box of nails or shingles for a roofing project. And people responded. And then our young people from the mission trip location would write mission sponsor letters, thanking these donors, telling them about what they were doing, how God was working in their life, what this faith community that they were partnering with was teaching them, and what the opportunity to serve really meant. Anyone who received those handwritten letters was going to donate again the next year because it was just such a gift to be part of. And again, sometimes that was $25 and sometimes that was several $1,000s, depending on the person and the donor. But every little bit counted. And I think, again, having our young people participate in financing this themselves. When I was in high school, my parents always had me pay for half of my mission trips, which meant I had to get creative about my own personal fundraising, helping our kids think about the ways that they can do that, whether it's babysitting or volunteering at church or doing a rake and run at fall time with the elders of our church.
Mm-hmm.
There are ways to make money. People want often to give to this kind of opportunity. You have to make a clear ask. You have to follow through on what you say you're going to do. And then I think as a church, you really need to make sure that there are some additional funds to cover the scholarship holes because they will come up.
Sure. Well, and in asking the wider community to participate in it, it really is bringing that community on the trip so that folks who can't physically go they're still present in a pretty holy and powerful way in supporting these young people in this endeavor. It's pretty neat.
It is, and I think it can be beyond just the finances. We hope that you'll pray for us. We hope that we can tell you about this when we come back in testimony, even on a Sunday from a youth Sunday platform, or maybe in a Bible study kind of setting where we can give some personal experience to how we've been moved and how you made it possible by sending us. Maybe even tying a commissioning service ahead of the trip into that. Again, building that base, making the youth group visible in ways that people know what's going on and are invested both spiritually and financially.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah.